Good morning, good morning, good morning. Switching Joker Sneaker Principal. And this morning was rough. I went to bed at a pretty good time last night, about 10 o'clock. And anyone who knows me knows that that's pretty early. Like I tend to be more 11, midnight type of person and still get up at 4 o'clock. But I've been very conscious about making sure I get enough rest. The trifecta of good health is physical activity, diet, and sleep or rest. Specifically sleep. You have to get sleep in. Rest is not just saying, oh, I'm not going to work out today. Rest is actually, turning the machine off and letting it recharge. And we recharge when we're sleeping because the brain gets a chance to stop. Then the body gets a chance to kind of like do what it does while we sleep. And if I remember correctly, most of our growth hormones for muscles, and just even as children, are maximized while we are asleep. So this morning I woke up, and pardon me, I'm just finishing getting dressed. I woke up, and man, everything in my mind, everything in my body said, nope, you are not going anywhere. Stay right here. Let's just get a couple more minutes of sleep. Whatever it was, and honestly, I'll tell you this: the alarm went up. The alarm. For some reason, I popped up at about 3:30, and I laid there, and I kind of went back to sleep. Kind of woke up at my usual 4 o'clock, and I laid there, fighting my inner voice. But eventually, regardless of how I felt, lethargic, not really feeling it, I got up, made my coffee, got dressed, and head out the door. As I was walking to the gym, the gym is about 3 blocks from here, I was telling myself, why are we doing this? It's funny, it's not me telling myself, it's just the voice in my head telling me all these things. But I got there, got on a treadmill. As soon as I got on that treadmill, I was like, more of this, do I really have to? And I hit start. And through my warm-up, that internal voice of dissent kept on pushing, kept on nagging. And I have my coaches that I listen to, especially on days like this. I like to listen to Eric Thomas, Jacko Wilnick, and David Goggins. Those are my trifecta of voices. And there's a video that I found that has 3 of them in this motivational video where they kind of take turns. Whoever edited it had different voices, not voices, but sayings and portions of their speeches kind of mixed into this video. And I had to kind of just focus on their voice, and I pushed through my 2-mile run. I know it's only 2 miles, but for me that's a lot. My 2-mile run and my workout. And as I was doing it, I was thinking about leadership. I know my brain's so weird, and how often are we in our schools, and there's so much going on, and all you want to do is shut that door, just sit there, and just kind of just avoid everything, not do that, not deal with that thing. And I'm sorry, don't sit here and tell me that I'm not the only one, because it happens quite often. The question is when that feeling arises or that voice comes up and you're like, man, I don't want to deal with this. This is some nonsense, and I'm tired, I'm exhausted. Then it turns into I'm not feeling well, I'm sick, or whatever the case may be, to resist actually, fighting, to resist doing what you need to do, and often to resist fighting that voice. This happens all the time. And one of the things that I've learned is that my daily routine of working out, my fitness regiment, has a direct correlation to my leadership. I know it's kind of weird, because my ability to fight my voices and those voices and those moments of dissent in my head telling me, don't do the workout, just eat that, don't just stay up a little bit longer and watch, Lord of the Rings or whatever I'm watching. My ability to shut that voice down and do the things that I don't want to do or the things that are hard to do, it gives me the fuel in my leadership practice to actually face and attack those things that come every single day, you know, and it's interesting. It's really interesting because I'm going to ask you to do this. Think about this. Where do you rate your health right now, overall? You know, your cardiovascular health, your waistline. I'm talking. And listen, I'm not trying to body shame anybody, but are you where you know you need to be at optimal health? This is not about looks. This is not about having your beach body and all that stuff. I'm talking about just overall health. You know, making sure that you're around long enough for your children, for your loved ones, for yourself. You know, making sure that as you approach retirement, that you have years to enjoy that retirement money. Like, where are you health-wise? Okay, and if you are in great physical shape or you're making great progress, how do you function when you're at work? Do you notice how sharp you think? Do you notice how very little gets to you because you're on top of it? You know, do you notice how just overall people even treat you differently and the way that they respect the way you move, because it's facts. When you're healthy, when you're on point, something in our genetic makeup says that's the alpha. You know, and being alpha doesn't mean that you are just this beast that comes in here and you're just disrupting everything. No, it just means you're on top of your game. And one thing I've learned is when I'm on top of my game healthy, and I'm healthy, and I've gone through these cycles of being in optimal health, and going back to just being super unhealthy, you know. And I'm hoping that this at 48 right now, that this is going to be my lifestyle all the way till, you know, I'm called back to eternity. But I know for a fact that my health and my status right now, how I feel, allows me to be so much more focused and so much more on top of my game when it comes to what I do as a leader. So I want to tell you this, that consider making changes in your health, you know, whether it's and you can pick one, it's a trifecta, you know, physical activity, rest, or diet. If you can do all three, amazing. But one thing I want to tell you, you know, but somebody said this to me, that it's an issue of discipline. And it's not an issue of discipline. It might be in the beginning where you have to just be on top of yourself and say, I have to be disciplined to get to where I need to be. But for me, I've realized it's less about discipline. You know, at least as you move forward, and more about lifestyle. You know, this is what I do. And even on the days that I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do this, I also say, if you don't do this, then who are you? It's like a religion. It's like your faith. This is who I am. And as soon as I started looking at fitness and my personal health as who I am, or rather than what's being done to me, or rather than what I need to do to myself, everything changed. So yes, yeah, there are days where I'm just like, oh, I do not want to do this. But guess what? I do it. Even when I don't want to. And every time I do it and it's over and done with, guess what? How I feel? I feel amazing. I feel like, oh, thank God I did that. You know? So this little ramble of mine around fitness and leadership, you know, I'm telling you, when you're on point health-wise, you know, there's a direct correlation, because being a leader is tough. It is a struggle. But being on top of your health is tough and a struggle. But if you make that a way of life, your leadership and the way you approach people and the way you present yourself in your work, it just becomes you. It's not, that's how this person leads. It becomes, this is how this person is. So with that being said, I gotta run. I have a nice long drive ahead of me. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you all soon, all right? Peace.